Welcome to Battle Streams in Middle-earth and welcome to Damian's hobby vlog number 33. This is my review of the year.
One ring to rule them all, one ring to fight them, one ring to break them all, and let the darkness bind them.
Oh yes, so welcome indeed to Battle Streams Middle-earth. This is the channel where the point of Battle Streams in Middle-earth is to help you clear your backlog. And we're a channel that is designed to be some fun, community-focused content on painting together and coming together and enjoying yourself and enjoying the hobby. So we do this in two ways primarily. One, the primary way is that every few weeks myself and Steve Crow do a live stream where we go through DXD's Partwork Battle Games in Middle-earth and we kind of have big community hangouts. So we do these live streams for about 4 hours a night. All the community from all around the world gets together and paints the same thing and just has fun and kind of talks about that topic every week. It's a lot of fun. The whole point is just to paint it for the fun and the joy of the hobby, not because you need those models. And the other thing I do on this channel is I chart my own hobby progress and my own attempts to clear that massive backlog through these hobby vlogs. Follow my journey. And this is the last hobby vlog of the year. It's actually going to be coming to you in the new year, but it's basically signing off on 2023. And so what this vlog is going to do is talk you through my hobby goals from 2023 and see how many I achieved, how many I didn't achieve, whilst also setting up my hobby goals for 2024. So I must warn you, this is going to be visually uninteresting unless you like this frame a lot. This is going to be man chats about stuff. So I know that the kind of stats and the updates and all that sort of thing interest a lot of you, and I'm sure they bore the hell out of some of you, but that's what you're signing up for if you're watching this one now. So I suggest you get your paints out and don't worry about looking at anything, but maybe sit back and listen as I reflect on the year. So I'll be going back to kick things off to my hobby vlog number 20. And if I said, what did I say this was? 33, I think. So that means I did 13 hobby vlogs this year, about roughly the equivalent of one a month. And in hobby vlog 20, I set out my hobby goals. So I'm going to run through those now and see what I did. So the first one was this big kind of cosmic life goals, which was really nothing to do with my hobby. And I said that I wanted to make every aspect of my life better. And so the things I listed was to be a better husband, kind of spending more quality time with Emma, to be a better dad, to keep our house tidier, to improve my career, and to use our phones less. And I'm going to say, broadly speaking, that's a yes. I'm pretty happy with that. The reason I've done it here, and I said this last year, is that it's almost these vlogs are almost my equivalent of having some sort of culpability, some kind of accountability. With myself, you know, I don't really keep a diary or anything like that where I could look back as though, or New Year's resolutions, but in these hobby vlogs, these do keep getting made. So I thought it'd be good to look back at this time. And I can honestly say, my honest answer was not as much as I hoped, but yes. My career's a bit better for sure. I got a massive, I got two huge monkeys off my back last year, which kind of helped. Wasn't the easiest year, but certainly moving in the right direction. I think I'm using my phone less. I could always be better at that. We could always be better at that. Me and Emma are doing, I think, better than we were. It's one of those weird things that once you have kids, you can kind of lose your own relationship. You lose yourself as a kind of couple, and you have to kind of figure out how are we going to be a couple. What's our relationship, kind of in and around the child, essentially. So I think we've done well there, and we started moving in ever more in the right direction. And then I do think. In terms of the dad, I'm pretty happy with that stuff. I think I've been putting more time into those kind of things. And I do believe our house is a little bit tidier. I think we're making some breakthroughs on our house. We got a garden room this year, which was a massive, massive part of that task to help us kind of sort out some of our stuff. So I do think we're moving in the right direction. So overall, my answer was not as much as I hoped at the start of 2023, but yes, it's a tick. So well done there. My next goal was to continue these hobby vlogs, and I did it. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think I've done 13 this year. Now, I have to mention there was a blip. Anyone who follows these hobby vlogs will know that there was a blip in the production of these vlogs where I didn't get one out for about I don't know what it was, 4 months or something. But it was all filmed, and that's why you got that glut of hobby vlogs in the second half of the year. So if you now go back and watch them all, you see my whole year being documented, but just a lot of it was done kind of almost retrospectively. I fell behind on the editing, but I did stick to it, and I kept editing, and I kept vlogging, and I kept getting through it. And as I'm recording this one, I've caught up. My Throne of Skulls vlogs have finished, and I've caught up on the year. And as I said, this is probably coming out kind of first week of January, second week of January, something like that. And so I was hoping this one would be out kind of New Year's Eve, but I'm a couple of weeks behind, but that's not too bad. So yes, got the vlogs in. The other thing was to keep the streams going, keep our live streams going with Steve. And I got to say, we've done that. Again, we struggled. I think there was a period, I think we went for our longest break without one. I don't know what it was, maybe about 5 weeks or something, 6 weeks over the summer. There's been huge upheaval, particularly in Steve's life. If you know, like his wife's changed, had a lot of change in her circumstances, and he's had a huge change in his career, which has made them a struggle. But I would hope that you see that we have stuck at it, and we've kind of settled back into a little groove in the last couple of months or so. And they might not be quite as frequent. I think we might be leaning more towards every 3 weeks instead of every 2 weeks. But we are still going with them, and we are plugging away. And I think most importantly, we are still really enjoying them. We still like doing them. We still have a great laugh when we do them. And we had a great way of finishing off this year with the Return of the King stream, and then it's the other way around. Which way around was it? No, yeah, Return of the King stream and then the Christmas special. It was really good to get those done, and we're looking forward to kind of getting stuck in again in the new year. So yeah, I think we did 18 streams this year, which over 52 weeks. If they were every 2 weeks, there should be 26 streams. So not too bad at all, really. So yeah, I think that's a big tick. Kept the streams going. I also said, I really hope, I'm going to really try to get the Fantasy Fellowship videos back. And that didn't happen. So first failure. I don't want to sound like a broken record here. It's just time. We have them. I don't need to film anything. We have them done. Got 11 videos today. That's like a year's worth of content that we're releasing once a month. I want to get back to it so much. I wanted to get back to it, but the truth is, I think I said at the start of the year, I really hope that maybe I can find the time this year. And the truth is, I didn't even come close. I didn't come close to doing it. It just seems that between kind of work and family and these hobby vlogs and the streams and the SBG magazine and the other things I want to do just to relax, that's just something that's fallen by the wayside. So sorry, I know people are waiting for them, I know people are excited, and I'm excited because the stuff's so good. And now, I mean, God only knows when we filmed them. We probably filmed them in 2021, did we? So they're 3 years ago. So I'm excited to kind of go back and rediscover them in many ways, because there's some really good stuff in there. But yeah, it wasn't this year. I'm sorry. We also, one of my goals was to release 2 issues of SBG, and I didn't do that. Sadly, we failed because we released 3. Oh yeah! It's kind of 2.5. So we set out to release 3 issues of this, and 2 issues, and we got the 2 issues that we were planning, which was issue 13, which is the launch of the Two Towers 20th anniversary celebrations, where they went into Rohan, and then we did the issue 14, which was our massive Helm's Deep one. Then we also got our Advent issue printed, which obviously we genuinely weren't planning to do at the start of the year. We just managed to find some time, I think, after we released issue 14, maybe even on the way back from Ardacon, we were sort of saying, I think we could do it. This is the reason you haven't got Fantasy Fellowship. There you go, blame this. Yeah, so really chuffed with that. We've wanted to get this one printed for a few years now, so it's great to get that done. And I was delighted with both of these. I was really happy with how both of these issues came out. So it's always weird when you're saying it at the start of the year, and I'm about to say it for next year, about, I hope we do 2 magazines, and then you're holding them a year later. And right now I know the content that's planned to go into them, but then actually seeing it and seeing all the pictures and seeing how everything came to life was just great. So yeah, 3 issues of SVG released, if you're interested in picking these up, you can contact us on sbgmagazine@gmail.com. But very, very pleased with those. Tick! I also said that I was going to run 7 stones. We ran 7 stones! Kaloo Kalay. We were back in our traditional space for 7 stones after 1 year in a different room, and it was great. Absolutely loved it. It was it feels like forever ago. And obviously, as I'm recording this now, going into the new year, I'm actually suddenly thinking, God, May's not that far away. So the kind of 7 stone cycle begins again. But I just loved it, and it's a joyous weekend. I like playing games and stuff, but there's something actually quite relaxing about running your own event where you don't have to play the games, and once every round starts, you can just kind of stroll around and chat to people and stuff. And it was just brilliant. We absolutely loved it again. So a really great weekend there. I then had one of my goals was to go to events, to keep going to SBG events. And I think I said I'll go to loads of events, but then I caveated, I go, well, a few. And I did go to loads of events by my standards for me. So I think, and it kind of depends how you count them, but I think in total I went to 7 events. As well as that, I got 2 weekends away to do photos for the magazine. So they are kind of nerdy weekends away that are events. But where I go away and hang out with Tom and some other nerdy chums for 3 days and kind of play games and take photos and stuff. But they're not kind of gaming events. But let's do a quick rundown. Again, I'm not going to go into any detail about these at all because they're all covered in hobby vlogs from last year. You can go back and see the full event reviews. But I'll give a brief update of what happened in them because I was bloody chuffed. So first I went to the GT, I took my B-Sam Gondor army, and I think I finished 12th. I think there was a final dice roll where if it had gone my way, I would have finished 5th, which is amazing. But as it turned out, I finished 12th, which was amazing. So thoroughly chuffed with that. And I won most sporting at the GT, which was amazing. So I was delighted with that. Really delighted with how the armies performed on the table, and even more delighted to get most sporting because it's something that matters an awful lot to me. Next up, I think in May-ish, we went to Warhammer World Teams, the Wanderers in the Wild. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Rode once more to Warhammer World Teams, which was absolutely chuffing amazing. It's the 2nd year in a row we've gone, and it was just class. I loved riding to war with my Wanderer chums. I think who was it? It was Johnny, me, Tom, and Jay, I think. And we finished 2nd. Ooh, I played my final game against Harry Parkhill on the top table because we are top table legends, myself and Harry. But yeah, it was a brilliant event. I love it. And it was great fun, and we were delighted to get the silver trophy this year. And we got bronze last year, silver this year. So this coming year, 2024, Wanderers gold. After that, 7 stones. So I put it down here. It's an event I run. But I did go to it, so I kind of have to, contractually obligated. So that was brilliant. We also then had our Battle Streams of Middle-earth meet-up, which was great. That was held at Warhammer World again, so that was just brilliant. Only largely a 1 day, but then there's a kind of chilled out morning afterwards. But we had a cracking Friday night up in Nottingham. Brilliant day, all day at Warhammer World. Kind of hanging out with the coolest community in the world. This is a kind of meet-up we run for our Battle Streams patrons. And then a kind of chilled out, a lovely fun Saturday evening, and then a chilled out Sunday morning playing some more games at Warhammer World. It was just brilliant, really, really cracking weekend, and we loved it. After that was one of the biggies, one of my 2 favourite events of the year. It was Ardacon, where the Wanderers in the World, once more rode to war with a full team of 9 Wanderers this year, which was absolutely brilliant. I don't know where we finished. I truly don't know. I think the team finished about 6th or 7th. I did not do well. I think I won 2, lost 4. I can't remember. Didn't do well at it, but took my cool B-Sim Last Alliance army to that, so that was a lot of fun. And I rode to war at doubles with Tom Harrison, and we got spanked in all 3 games. That was good. Finished dead last. But it was all worth it because me and Tom won most sporting doubles partnership, and the team, the Wanderers, won most sporting team. So we were chuffed with that, super over the moon. It was absolutely brilliant. Really, really thrilled. It was a cracking weekend, and that's where we released issue 14 of SBG. So I loved it. Well done to James and Sam and Nick and PMG and the rest of the team, because it was just absolutely amazing as ever, and I can't wait. We've already got our tickets for this year. Can't wait for it. Ardecon's a bit of a weird event in the way it's organised and the way it's kind of advertised and all those kind of things. So you might be a bit kind of cautious or wary about it, particularly if you're relatively new to the community. But jump in and give it a go because it's absolutely brilliant. After that, it was then Throne of Skulls doubles at Warhammer World, where Trokenburn, we once more rode to war. We only went and bloody won it, didn't we? So that was awesome. Amazing weekend with the All-Mounted Gondor, with me, with Boromir and Knights, and Adam with Dol Amroth and Imrahil and Knights. And it was just a brilliant weekend spent with a brilliant friend that then ended up in the most brilliant way possible by winning Throne of Skulls. And then that was nearly it until Throne of Skulls singles rolled around, and I went to that, and I only went and bloody won it. So yeah, my other favourite event of the year, along with Ardacon, came up, and I've actually got. Was it going to come in here? Yeah, the sun is hanging out here, but I went taking my Riders of AMR. That's what the last kind of 4 vlogs of 2023 were covering. And I went took Riser of AMR, dressed up as the sun, and won it. So the tail end of the year, I won won Throne of Skulls twice. Once was doubles and once was singles, which is just utterly surreal. So yeah, those were my events, and I mean, I've got to say, I'm just amazed and blown away. I've been lucky enough to be in this community for I think about 11 years now. I've been playing kind of independent SPG events, and I've had some great times with the Nova Open, going to America, and nearly I came second in the league one year. I nearly won the league, and all these sort of things. And I've won some big events, but I honestly think this might be my best year. That might have been my best year, not both in terms of how much I enjoyed it, but also the results. Winning Throne of Skulls twice, getting most sporting at the GT, getting all the most sporting votes at Ardacon. It was just a brilliant year, and that's where my hobby is driven now. My hobby is driven by having fun, thematic games where I enjoy it and my opponent enjoys it. And kind of getting those awards that kind of validate those things, it just means the world to me. So if you're an opponent out there who voted for me in any of those this year, thank you, because it really does mean the world to me. You guys are absolutely awesome. So yeah, it was a blissfully brilliant year, and I was going through some really tough stuff with work during that year at various points, and some of those events really helped to turn things around. So thank you to everyone. So those were kind of some of the wider year-long goals almost, but then I had my hobby goals, and so one of them was to complete hobby bingo, and I should have prepared this. I did it! I completed hobby bingo. My last hobby vlog was about it. We completed this year's hobby bingo. What was quite funny was I went and, in preparation for this video, I went and looked at my last video, vlog 20, the one where I was predicting making all my hobby goals, and I said in there, I was looking at that and going, oh, I think I'm going to struggle to paint a 600 point evil army at some point. And that's exactly what happened. We got to the start of that hobby bingo hobby vlog, the last one, and I was at the start of December, I haven't got an army, and I said, and I quote, a year ago I said, somehow I'm going to need to find another 400 points of evil. Did that. So this was great. This was the guy that got me over the line, got me my 600 point evil army, and it really made me laugh that a year ago I was going, God, I think I'll need about 400 points of evil. Oh, what am I going to do? And it turns out I just paint Sauron and smash it. So yeah, that was quite funny. So yeah, completed hobby bingo. Tick. Next up, my second main hobby goal is to paint 100 models, and I didn't do it. I painted 83. Tragically, I've been monitoring my collection since 2020, so that's the 4th year I've been doing it, and I've managed to paint 100 models twice. I painted 135 in 2020, that's lockdown, so maybe we're going out less. I painted 89 in 2021, I painted 112 in 2022, and I painted 83 this year. So I've actually painted less models this year than I have since records began, which obviously has the potential to be a bit disappointing, but I can't be disappointed. I'm not allowed to be disappointed because it doesn't matter. That's what I have to remind myself. It doesn't matter. If painting 100 models would be doing incredibly well and being a brilliant result, then painting 83 is doing pretty bloody well. They're about the same to me. So I'm not disappointed with it. I love what I painted last year. I would have liked to paint some more, but I'm really happy with what I painted. I really enjoyed working on everything, and I like the models I've added to my collection. my whole focus, my whole kind of ethos all the way through Battle Stream is always that you've got to be enjoying it. When you're angry about it, if the hobby makes you angry, if you're angry about that they released the wrong thing, if you're angry about them releasing a diorama, or you're angry about them not releasing a Last Alliance supplement, if it makes you angry, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. You know, like, it shouldn't make you angry. You can be disappointed, you can wish there was more wonderful stuff out there, but the idea that any of these things would actually like give you a real bad negative feeling, I think I just don't get. It's a hobby, it's meant to make you happy. So yeah, I missed it, but who cares? I painted 83 models and I'm really happy with that, and I will try again. We go again. And the other main one is to, the kind of number 3 is reduce my backlog. And I did that because I painted 83 models and I sold 8 models for a total of things I should know, 91 models removed from my backlog, and I bought 55 models. So removed 91, bought 55, so a kind of net improvement of 45 models basically. So reduced my backlog, but then 3.5 in my hobby goals is to reduce my backlog by 5% a year. And this year I didn't do that, alas. I reduced my backlog by a mere 3.1%, which actually is the lowest. Just like my painting models were the lowest since records began, that is the lowest since records began. 2020 I reduced it by 4.5%, 2021 3.2%, 2022 4.4%, and 2023 3.1%. So that is the only one of my annual hobby goals that I've never done. I've never reduced my backlog by 5%. So again, you know, annoying, but who cares? And the reason for that was that I changed my Throne of Skulls project. My Throne of Skulls project, and more on that in part 2 of this, was always going to be a big backlog clearing thing. And I just ran out of time to paint that many models, so I had to change it for something that actually required me to buy like some more Riders Rohan. So instead of it being a project where I cleared a lot of models, I ended up buying models and not painting very many. So I think I'd kind of hoped that my Throne of Skulls project would make me paint 60 models that I already owned, and instead it made me paint 12 models, 10 of which I didn't own. So that's kind of where the 5% fell apart. But I don't care, because it was brilliant and it was worth it. You know, I bought 6 extra Minister of Knights for doubles. So, you know, I screwed up those. I screwed up my painted numbers and I screwed up my backlog reduction, but I won Throne of Skulls twice. So, you know, I think it was worth it. I think that will take that trade. So yeah, alas, the elusive 5% reduction remains out of reach. And for anyone who's keeping a larger track on how well I am clearing the backlog, I now have 59.4% of my collection painted. Agonisingly didn't tip over into 60. Let's have a look. What if I'd have painted 90 models? No, that wouldn't have done it. 95. Yeah, 95 gets me there. Does 93. No. Does 94. Yes, so 94 models I would have needed to have tipped over into 60% painted. So 11 more models, alas, fell by the wayside. So that's really good. When I started doing this in 2019, 44.2% of my collection was painted, and now I'm on 59.4% of it painted. For anyone keeping track, I've now got 1,845 models and 1,845 models and 1,096 of them are painted. So yes, didn't alas clear my backlog, but 5%. But you know, did have a very positive year of painting. And then once I'd set those out, I set out some sort of goals for the year in terms of painting. And some of these I've already kind of covered in previous hobby vlogs, but kind of briefly, I mentioned plans to celebrate having painted 1,000 models. I painted 1,000 models in like December, my 1,000th model in December 2022. And I was going to do a celebratory vlog to do that, and I didn't do it. It kept getting bunched. And I filmed some stuff for it, and it screwed up. The footage went wrong, which really annoyed me. I was going to do a special vlog. Now, more on that in the second part, but I think I can still do that. You know, I can still celebrate having painted 1,000 models, even if it's a year after I did it, essentially. So, you know, it took me 10 years to paint 1,000 models, so it doesn't really matter if the celebratory video comes a year late, I reckon. Yeah, a year late. So, yeah, I didn't manage that. I also looked ahead to the next Battle Streams binder and looked through everything we're going to do there. And largely, as you'll see in a vlog that I released around August, September time, where I looked back on the previous 8 months, I painted most of the stuff I thought I was going to paint at the start of the year. My main thing was to get my Battle Streams Gondor army painted up, get even more of it, and I said I wanted to take it to loads of events, and I did that. I painted loads of Gondor last year, took it to the GT, took it to Teams, took it to Ardacon Doubles, and took it to the B-Side meetup, and then took it to Doubles. Yeah, I took it to Warhammer World Doubles. So I took it to 5 events last year out of 6 or 7, I think. Can't remember. Must have been out of 7. So I took it to most events and really loved it. It was brilliant. It was brilliant using that army, so I really enjoyed that. In terms of other things, the only big project really that I missed was finishing off my Thrice Cursed Battle Company for Derry Evans, which I just ran out of time for. So that didn't get finished. That was another failure. More on that later. It's in there. And then finally, I really like this, that I predicted, this is in January 2023, I said, I've got this idea for Throne of Skulls, that maybe this time I won't be stressed. And anyone who's watched my Throne of Skulls vlogs will know that very much was not the case. So there we go. That was my year that was. I loved it. It was brilliant. I'm really, really happy. I think it's fair to say I met most of my goals in a way. I didn't meet a few of them. I will try harder next year, but overall, well done me. Great year in the hobby, and thank you to everyone who's been a part of it. This community is the very best. So, let's go again. What about 2024? First things first, at the time of recording, I truly can't remember if I mentioned this on my Hobby Bingo vlog, or if I'll mention it, or I might forget to mention it when I start doing my January vlog. But I started it with the Hobby Projects vlog last year, so I'm going to include this here. Secret Santa and Christmas. So Secret Santa is always organised by Sebastian Ratz. Was amazing. I was absolutely delighted to be a part of it. And I got a trebuchet. I got a Gondorian trebuchet, which was awesome because I want one for my B-Side Gondor army, and it is a mere 4 models to the backlog. As I think I've said a bunch of times, I've nicked Carl Daly's idea where your hobby collecting year goes from Christmas Day, so that if you've done really well at backlog clearing and people get you loads of cool stuff on Christmas, that doesn't ruin your year's numbers. I also got 23 clear Army of the Dead. I got the 20 warriors and I got the 3 heroes. More on them later. So for Christmas, I got 27 models. So that's where we're starting the year with 27 new models. So bad numbers to begin with. But yeah, we'll come back to them in a minute. So I'm going to do, again, every aspect of our lives better. Better husband, better dad, better house, better phone usage, better hobby, better career. I'm going to do that. They're all in again. I want to improve all of those. I feel like we're on the right track, and I'm going to keep motoring down that track. So stay accountable, Damian, and I'll see you in a year, and you better be better. I think I'm going to add exercise to this one. I've put on too much weight. And I'm going to add like do more exercise. Get exercising, Damian. And yeah. Come on, future Damian. This is past Damian. Did you do it, fatty? Hopefully. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to continue these. I'm going to continue the hobby vlogs. I'm still enjoying doing them. I like documenting them. They're quite nice to look back on occasionally. As long as people keep commenting on them, I'll keep making them. Like at the moment, people are. So please, 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 if you're listening to this, drop a comment in. It doesn't matter how much it is, but I promise you, certainly my experience on YouTube is that if you're making content, you're fine to make it if people just drop you a message about it. So just pop a comment on there, say what you enjoyed, say what you didn't enjoy, but just interact a bit. There is nothing more galling than when you put content out there and no one replies to it, because it's just not worth it. So I'm going to keep doing these. We're going to keep the streams going again. Like we certainly don't have any plans to not keep the streams going. We'll be back hopefully in January with what's up first? Is it Rohan? I can't remember. What did I say? Like, is it the second? Is it Horse Week? I think it's Horse Week, isn't it? Something like that. But we'll be back there, and then we got some Warg Riders. And I did what I said. Oh God! Is I would I looked ahead. And I'll do that a bit later. But I'm going to do the same sort of thing where we kind of have a little look ahead about what I'm going to paint a bit later. Then we're on to the Fantasy Fellowship. I'm not going to speak about at length. I'm going to try. I want them. The stuff exists. I want to put it out there. Tom wants me to put it out there. You want to see it. So I will try my damnedest to get it out there. We'll see. Hopefully I'm not here feeling sad in a year again. We have 2 more issues of SBG to release. We're going to be doing issues 15 and 16, concluding our journey through the 2 towers. So we did 2 issues focusing on the Fellowship of the Ring campaign, and we've already done 2 issues on the 2 towers, looking at the 3 hunters, and now we've got to catch up with our hobbits. So yeah, through issues 15 and 16, we'll be following the journeys of Merry and Pippin and Frodo and Sam through the story of the 2 towers, which I'm really excited about. And our photo shoot for issue 15 is at the end of January. So my next hobby vlog is going to be documenting the hobby, painting through January to lead up to that. It's a photo shoot that's much earlier than normal. It's normally at the end of February, and we've brought it forward. So that's quite bad from a kind of hobby point of view in terms of getting stuff painted, but it's good in terms of us having longer to work on the issue. So yeah, that's the plan, and the hope would be to release issue 15 at 7 Stones and issue 16 at Ardacon. Talking to 7 Stones, we're going to run that again. It's booked, it's in the calendar, so hopefully 7 Stones will be running. I should be able to tell you the date. It is on the GBHL calendar, but it is Saturday 25th, Sunday 26th and Monday 27th. It's Bank Holiday Monday. So as ever, the tournament will be the Sunday and the Monday, and the Saturday will be our kind of pre-7 Stones fun open gaming day, which is always a good laugh. That will be ahead. I'm going to try and go to the same events. That's about what I can fit into my schedule. I'd like to get to some more, but I just don't think it's realistic. So all being well, I'll be at 2 photo shoots, maybe be some meet up, 4 Warhammer World events and Ardacon. I think that's it, isn't it? Those will be my weekends away, which I'm really excited about. And I can't see how I can possibly top the last year, but that's what I'll be trying to do, riding toward those. And I'll talk about throwing skulls in a minute. And then on to my hobby awards, hobby plans. Same as always, I'm going to try and do hobby bingo. As of right now, we don't have a new hobby bingo. Hopefully it will come in the first few weeks of January, but we'll have to wait and see. If not, I'll probably just do that one again. It's easy if they don't update it. I'm going to try and complete hobby bingo, which is I always love it, and it's a really, really cool way to steer your hobby. I probably said this in my last blog, but I love the fact that in that December you can use hobby bingo to just go and paint some cool models as well. So you can do this throughout the year, of course, at any point, but I just really enjoyed that month of just tidying up a few things. Going, oh, I'll paint Sauron, I'll paint a Taskmaster, I'll paint Bilbo. It was great. Now, next one, I said the Army of the Dead would come back. My plan, as ever, is to try and paint 100 models. I have 23 of the translucent Army of the Dead. Now, I should say I have them. I don't have them at the moment. My mum got them for me for Christmas, and obviously she got on to the made to order, so we'll get them at some point. There is when I look ahead to the binder, there is an Army of the Dead binder, Army of the Dead issue of Battle Games of Middle-earth that we'll be looking at on the stream, and I'm planning on doing them then. Now, I had that real weird kind of almost quasi FOMO thing. I've got Army of the Dead. I've had a lot of fun with Army of the Dead in the past. And I've got a massive army of them, and I don't need any more. But when I saw them, I was like, they were kind of cool. And I was like, I quite like them. And I just had the feeling that maybe somewhere down the line, I might want to do a different Army of the Dead project and use them. That's my kind of thinking. So I was like, and it happened to be, they came out on the same day I was with my mum, and she went, is there anything you want for Christmas? I was like, get me some of them. So I've got those coming in. Now, let's be absolutely clear before controversy reigns. This whole thing is about clearing your backlog. Let's assume I've got those models. I've got 23 models on sprue, unassembled. If I get those assembled, that is absolutely 23 models ticked from the backlog. There's no, in my own logic, and I've just got on to me and Santa, that's not difficult. That isn't tricking anything. They're kind of like the invisible ring bearers, right? If you just put them in their bases and you finish their bases how you want, they're then done. And you can tick them off your box. Now, what that means is I've got a very, very easy way of getting 23 models painted this year. And my plan, and I'll talk about this more when we get to that stream, is to do them all on the stream. And what I want to do is clip them off, put them onto black bases, maybe with a touch of glue to glue them in, and then just put cotton wool on the black bases and call them done. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm terrified to paint them. and quite how I'll do that and dry brush them. I think I'll ruin them, and there's no way of testing it without ruining one, etc. But also, I want them cleared from the backlog. And I don't want to do something that I'll regret if I then want to do a project with them down the line. So that's my plan for that stream. When the Army of the Dead comes around, I'm going to try and just get them all done in a night. Now, people are going, well, you're not even painting the bases. You're just putting on black bases and cotton walls. They'll look cool. They'll look finished. But I will have done very little to them. So yes, they absolutely count as models removed from my backlog. But it's a very, very easy, lazy way of getting 23 models done. So I'm going to change my target this year to say I have to paint 123 models. Get it? Seem fair? So they will count because they're no longer models on sprues. They're models that are assembled and ready for use. But I'm not going to use it to cheat the whether or not I paint 100 models. That's my plan. And you could also, if they're constantly available, which I don't think they are, you could always you could buy 40 every year and really, really boost your numbers. But I don't think that's being honest with Santa. I got 23 because I wanted 23, and they will count towards my numbers. So that's my plan for those. So I've got this slightly weird thing where this year, because I'm doing that, I'm going to try and paint 123 models. Okay? Seems fair to me. And then finally, on those ones, I'm going to try and reduce my backlog by 5% again. So it's impossible to say what I need to do that because it depends on what's released. But looking ahead, we don't know of any releases at the moment, which for this kind of stuff is good because there's nothing tempting me to buy it. There's bound to be some stuff that comes out this year that will tempt me, but I just need to paint a lot more. I think what did I end up with last year? It was like 91 painted and sold compared to 55 bought. So you need a much higher percentage than that. Probably needs closer to maybe only 20 or 30 bought. I guess would probably get you there, something like that. So yeah, I'm going to try and reduce my backlog by 5%. One of the things I'm going to do in that is I'm still going to try to do that thousandth model celebration. It's only one model, but I am going to see if I can kind of have another go at that. Really, it's annoying because I've already painted the model now that I was going to use, and I screwed up the recording footage of it. But I don't know quite what I'm going to do. But I still hope that maybe this year you'll get a vlog celebrating my 1000th model. Who knows? It shouldn't take too long, really. So what I'm now going to do is look ahead. Again, like I did last year, to not the first half of the year necessarily, and see what I'm going to start painting. So, very, very different this year. Whereas last year I said it was going to be heavily good and I was going to really struggle to do 600 Points of Evil. Things are taking a very dark turn for me this year, and I'm going to be jumping in January with some metal Mordor orcs, which I am super excited about. I've had them, I bought them on made to orders in about 2019, 2020. I've had them for ages and I wanted to do them for ages and ages and ages. I'm going to be jumping in with a load of orcs. And they are going to be painted up for the SBG photo shoot in January. So I'm going to be starting off by painting a bunch of Mordor orcs. Then after that, I'm going to be painting some more Mordor orcs. My plan is to go to the GT with this guy, and a horde of Mordor orcs. And I believe it's something like you can either do a version with him and a troll and about 23 orcs or something, some of which are wild riders, or you can do a version with him and a captain and about 35 orcs. And I kind of want to do that one. I kind of want to do the Sauron and a load of orcs one, all leading those kind of metal, those classic metal orcs. So that's my plan. So for the first 2 months I'm going to be painting orcs. After that, moving into March, we're speculatively that's about the time that we're doing the Army of the Dead in Battlestream. So I've kind of popped in 23 models for March. And also in March, I'm hoping to do Dewey's Battle Company. You've heard it here first. I hope and I pray and I believe this year I will finally get that Battle Company done. It doesn't need a lot to do it. Doesn't need a lot of work on it. It just needs a bit of time. So I've kind of basically put aside March to finish that project off. I'm quite excited to get it done and to finally show you the second half of that vlog and to get it finished. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then into April, and I've got a whole bunch more evil stuff to come. I don't really know how much to tell you about this, but I've got some evil heroes and a bunch of different kind of evil heroes and evil models that I'm going to basically add to some really iconic heroes as well. I'm going to add to those metal Mordor orcs, because those Mordor orcs who will have already served a purpose in the SBG issue 15 shoot, and then will have already served a purpose in the GT, will then be serving another purpose at the very least in the issue 16 photo shoot, and potentially at doubles. So that those kind of Mordor orcs that I'm painting in January and February are basically going to form the core of my armies and my hobby for the first few months of the year. So it's going to be a very, very evil focused year. And as part of that, I also hope, I'm really excited about this, to get my first ever Fell Beast painted. I'll be trying to paint a Fell Beast, and I've got that currently put aside for April. And then, incredibly optimistically, I've got down that I'm going to start my Throne of Skulls project. The reason I had to do the Rise of Aomer last time instead of this is well documented, instead of what I was going to do, the one I've been trying to do since 2019, was that I was meant to start that in July, and I just ran out of time, and I ended up starting it in October, so I couldn't do it, so I had to do the Rise of Aomer. So this year I have scaled back massively my expectations for other hobby, and yeah, I'm hoping to start working on my Throne of Skulls project in about May time. I'm keeping it under my hat for now, but this is the one I've talked about for years. This is the one I wrote an army list for it in 2019, late 2019, when I got back from Throne of Skulls, when I won it with Thorin's Company in Bag End. I wrote this army list then, and then it was cancelled for 2020, and then I've just never been able to find the time to do it. And this year, I really, really hope I'll do it. And as a result of that, I'll end up painting loads and loads of models from my backlog. So that's mainly what I'll be doing in the second, the kind of last 2/3 of the year, really. And yeah, like I said, I'm not going to say too much about it, but then what you'll see is you'll start to see me painting stuff, hopefully through May, June, July, August, and it'll be pretty cool. It'll be pretty clear the army I'm using, and then hopefully in the time that I normally do my Throne of Skulls vlogs, I'll start doing the kind of cool stuff, the displaced board stuff, and all that kind of thing. So that's my plan. So largely for the first kind of bit of the year, all I'm doing is evil stuff, is metal Mordor orcs and lots of heroes to lead them. But that will be supplemented a little by Games of Middle Earth. Which of course we do with our streams, and we're starting a new binder, and there's going to be some fun stuff to come in here. So I just thought I'd flick through here and see how this might direct my hobby. So as I said, we're going to start with Horse Week. I suspect as we do Horse Week, and we finished off Riders of Rohan, and then there's 2 issues looking at Wild Riders, and I reckon as we do that, I'll probably be stressed about Mordor orcs. So I'll probably be painting Mordor orcs. I don't have particular plans to do anything for them, sadly. I'd love to, but I just don't think it will happen. And the first really interesting thing is when we get to issue 70, we get a Haradrim sprue. And I've got a sprue of Haradrim knocking around. And I really don't know what I'll do, because it feels so tempting to try and kind of B-sign 12 Harad and really push my numbers up, but equally that feels like a giant waste of time. So I think what I'm going to do is figure out at that time how my other hobby's going, and I'll either paint those 12 Harad guys, or I'll paint something else for my B-sign Gondor army, because my B-sign Gondor army, which has done so well over the last few years in terms of hobby and has brought me so much joy, kind of needs to be finished. Armies are never finished, but it kind of needs to be finished by about June this year. And it's not far off, but what I'd say I need to paint between now and then is 4 plastic rangers, 4 metal rangers, 3 citadel guard, and a trebuchet. So if I could get those done, there's 4 tiny little batches of Gondor. If I could get those done in the first half of the year, I'll be really, really chuffed. So I reckon what will probably happen is when that Harad issue comes around, I'll probably end up painting like 4 Rangers or something. After that, we have the Army of the Dead, which is cool. I can't wait to see what the Army of the Dead get up to. I think there's some Corsair ship fun to be had. So I will be painting or assembling my translucent Army of the Dead. After that, we have some more Mordor Orc Warriors. I think I'll be psychologically out of Mordor Orcs by then, because I would have painted so many of the things. But I think hopefully I'm scheduling that that's another part of that Gondor army. So maybe another 4 Rangers, or maybe maybe the Citadel Guard by that point. It's hard to tell. After that, we get Merry and Pippin week. Super excited by these. These are armoured Merry and Pippin for the first time, and a lot of people have been saying it's been a while now since. Let's see if I got this spreadsheet open. Aragorn's had the title for a while now. Not too long. When did Aragorn win? So Aragorn is our Battle Streams of Middle Earth participation record holder. It was June. It was last June. And on Aragorn week, we got 51 entries. So during the live stream, on one evening, we had 51 people around the world painting Aragorns, which was just awesome. Crazy, crazy awesome. Loved it. And no one's really come close to that after that. We're just scrolling down here. We had 23 entries, 38 entries. That's not bad. 20 entries, 13, 19, 46. What was that? It was Riders of Rohan. They did well. 30, 27, 39. We've never really we haven't managed to beat him. And perhaps Merry and Pippin is the week to do it. So I've never painted up either Merry or Pippin in their armour. So I'll probably dig out one of those metal ones and paint them up. Then this is super cool. We get the final special. We get the Fellowship of the Ring special that came with Arwen and a horse. I've done that Arwen and the Frodo. I've got an Arwen on foot. So again, hopefully, I reckon I'll probably schedule in the last of those 3 batches of Gondor. So the Rangers or the Citadel Guard. We then get Witch King week. Fabulously, I think I've actually already used all my Witch Kings. I've used my Witch Kings up a lot for Battle Streams of Middle Earth and for Hobby Bingo and things because they're easy and quick to paint. But I don't think I've got any Witch Kings left. So perhaps by then I turn my attention to the Trebuchet crew. If it's not completely clear what I'm doing by now, whenever I get to an issue where I don't have the stuff, I'll paint something for my Beast-Sign Gondor army. After that, we're on to a Legolas. After that, we get a wonderful issue, which is the conversion sprue, and I will be absolutely damned if I'm not converting that Gurritz. So I'm going to try and do the conversion. I'm going to try and get a plastic orc and convert him into Gurritz. I'm very excited about that. After that, we get to Legolas, and it's Heroes of the West Legolas, and I have that Legolas, and I've never painted him, so I would be pretty damn certain I'll be painting that Legolas. After that, we're on to Easterling week. I don't have any Easterlings, so that'll be something for Gondor. And after that, it is Elisar. I have my Elisar on foot painted. He was done for Battle Streams. I've not painted Elisar on horse, so maybe I'll do Elisar on horse. So there are some really exciting things coming there. Some really cool models that I can't kind of wait to get stuck into. But they're all tiny, tiny little bits that I will use as kind of palette cleansers, I think. In between this kind of sea of evil orcs I'll be painting for the first few months of the year. So that's what we've got. I've run the maths on it, and incredibly optimistically, let's take that off. I think somehow this might sound absolutely insane, but I think according to this, I might have painted 75 models by the end of April. That's including the Army of the Dead, obviously. So that's 50 models really by the end of April. Now that seems like absolute madness to me, if I'm brutally honest. But given that that's nearly as many as I painted in the whole year, and obviously the Army of the Dead are kind of bumping that up. But those are the kind of figures we're looking at this time. So what I'm going to do is I will come back in whenever I've finished all those bits I was talking about, basically. Whenever I've finished all this evil stuff and I'm about to turn my attention to Throne of Skulls, hopefully around May, I'm going to do another hobby vlog and check in on this and see how we did, see how much of that happened, see how far we've got in Battle Streams, and see what we're doing. But yeah, optimistically, there's no way I'm painting 75 models, but if I do everything I've just talked you through, apparently I'm going to have painted 75 models by the end of April. So we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. It seems a bit crazy to me, but there we go. So that's it. Those are my plans for the year. I'm excited. I'm really, really buzzing off hobby. I came back from Throne of Skulls like super, super energized. I had a great December, painting some fun models. I had a wonderful Christmas, and now I'm really, really excited about the projects I've got coming to get stuck into. Both the projects I'm going to be doing for the first 4 months, and then the project that I've wanted to do for years now, which I will finally be turning my attention to. From about May, June time onwards. So yes, I hope you're all well, and I hope you're looking forward to coming with me on another fun year's worth of Battle Streams of Middle Earth through the live streams and through the hobby vlogs. Thank you all so much for all your ongoing support. It really does mean the world to me. If you are new here, please make sure you click subscribe. We have our affiliate link down there for 7th Sea Collectibles. If you want to pick up some hobby supplies, you help out our friends, help out their store, and help out the channel. And you've even got our Patreon link down there if you want to join the coolest hobby community in the world. But that's about it. That's enough. That's my hobby vlog review of the year 2023 and plans for the year 2024. I hope you like them, and I hope we manage to smash them all this year. We'll find out soon, but until next time, I'll see you very soon here on Battle Streams in Middle-earth.